Item number 9.7 is for action, the bond election authorizing resolution to call for election.
Do I need to?
I think the, now therefore.
Yep. I move that we pass a resolution as follows, that a special election of the school electors of the district shall be called and held on Tuesday, May 6, 2025. The proposition to be voted on at the special election shall be stated on the ballots in substantially the form set forth in Exhibit A to the resolution. The election coordinator is requested to utilize the Midland Daily News, newspaper published or of general circulation within the district for publication of notices in accordance with the election law requirements. Utilize ballot proposition summary information as prepared by legal counsel in the forms of the notices of last day of registration and election in substantially the form as set forth in Exhibit B attached to the resolution. Provide a proof copy of the ballot to the district and its legal counsel in sufficient time to allow the ballot to be proofread prior to printing. This board estimates the period of usefulness of the improvements for which the bonds of the district in the amount of $285 million are to be issued to be not less than 30 years. The secretary of the board is hereby authorized and directed to file a copy of this resolution with the election coordinator and with any election clerk or clerks designated to conduct elections within the district by 4 p.m. on Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. All resolutions and parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution are hereby rescinded.
Motion by Lauterbach.
Support.
Support by McFarland. Open the floor for discussion on the resolution for the call for election.
I guess my only,
Can you
yeah,
read the bond language?
I guess my inclination would be to actually read Exhibits A and B so that it's transparent about what we're voting on. Exhibit A to the resolution says, shall Midland Public Schools, Midland County, Michigan, borrow the sum of not to exceed $285 million and issue its general obligation unlimited tax bonds therefore in one or more series for the purpose of erecting, furnishing, and equipping new school buildings and school support buildings, erecting additions to, remodeling, including security improvements to, furnishing and refurnishing and equipping and re-equipping school buildings, acquiring and installing instructional technology and instructional technology equipment for school buildings, purchasing school buses, and acquiring, preparing, developing, equipping, and improving playgrounds, playfields, athletic fields and facilities, driveways, parking areas, and sites. The following is for informational purposes only. The estimated millage that will be levied for the proposed bonds in 2025 is 3.9 mils, or $3.90 on each $1,000 of taxable valuation. The maximum number of years the bonds of any series may be outstanding, exclusive of any refunding, is 25 years. The estimated simple average annual millage anticipated to be required to retire this bond debt is 3.81 mils, or $3.81 on each $1,000 of taxable valuation. The district does not expect to borrow from the state to pay debt service on the bonds. The total amount of qualified bonds currently outstanding is $64,700,000. The total amount of qualified loans currently outstanding is zero. The estimated computed millage rate may change based on changes in certain circumstances. Exhibit B is simply a summary of the ballot proposition, which would be inserted in the publication in the newspaper summarizing the Exhibit A that I just read. So, that is my motion.
Thank you, John. Any further discussion on the ballot language and motion item 9.7? I do want to make just one comment for clarification. Again, we've talked about this before, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Again, the estimated millage we levied for the proposed bond in 2025 is 3.9 mils, and averaged out over the life of the bond is estimated to be 3.81. This is consistent with what we talked about before, and because we still have $64,700,000 outstanding, that bond, the millage rate ramps down over time. So we will still show the 3.9 mils as a total, but because of the ramp down in the first bond, it will be a 3.25 increase to the taxpayer. Any further discussion or questions on language? This item requires a roll call vote. So, Jen?
President Roush.
Yes.
Vice President McFarland.
Yes.
Treasurer Lauterbach.
Yes.
Secretary Ringgold is a yes. Member Blasey.
Yes.
Member Craig.
Yes.
Member Horowitz.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Item 9.8, Facility Improvement Bond Proposal Update. For information, just consistent with our past meetings, update on where we're at in the process. Obviously, tonight we took action to call for election. In addition, this now will start a much more intensive informational campaign. Last meeting, I don't believe he's here tonight, but one of the members of the public, Mr. Domina, had asked about really our analysis on could you reinvest in Northeast, or was it more economical to replace it? We've worked with our architects and engineers to really detail that out, and we'll put it on our website for him, to be responsive to him and other community members that have asked that question. And then we will also launch in addition to what we've already put on the internet, a much more kind of formalized information website with more intensive FAQs, I guess. But I want to make sure that the public knows any of us are available at any time to answer questions, as well as Penny and her staff. So please don't shy away from asking the questions that you have. As we talked about tonight, earlier in our data presentation, student outcomes are the most important part of what we do as a district. But those outcomes in both proficiency and growth can only happen when the environment in which they're learning meets the needs of the students and the changing learning that has to happen in our buildings. So, but appreciate your support, but understand that public deserves and needs more information. So please reach out to us at any point in time, and then check in on our website for more and more comprehensive information about the facility improvement plan and what we're marching forward with hopeful public approval in May. Public request to address the board. Did have Mr. Bonady sign up ahead of time. Welcome.
I can just take a big X across my first paragraph. I am now very confused as to what the total millage is going to be on my property taxes between the old one and the new one. I was going with 3.25, it's now 3.9. And in the December meeting, there was a comment that the bond's FAQs was going to be updated with something that talked about totals. And as of noon today, it hadn't been updated since November 8th. Ironically, there has been no update regarding the pool fiasco either. Public would like to have some confirmation that you're working on it or that there is a process. Because there was an awful lot of unhappy aquatic folks here a couple months ago. That's all I'll say about that, because right now I need to see some data. I'd like to see data too. And in reference to your cookie cutter student population projections, it was recently reported that Michigan had the fewest babies born since 1940s, which is not aligned with your expectation of a stable school population for the next 10 years. I think that needs a reality check. I wish I could give back my extra time and get closer to the 5 minutes that we had in the pre-pandemic levels, but I guess not everything is trying to return to normal. And finally, Jeff, congratulations on your retirement. You are now off the clock.
Well done. Well, that was well done. That was
Joe, that was good.
good job, Joe. That was nice.